Let us now look into the nutritional requirement for the school-going children. We have in the first class studied the RDA table. In the RDA table, the nutritional requirement for the school-going children has been given, which is same for the boys and the girls. Here, we should know the nutritional requirement for the school-going children pertaining to every nutrient. Let us see the energy requirement for the school-going children. The requirement for the calories is same for the boys and the girls who are 7 to 9 years of age, which is 1690 kilocalories. I have already told you the nutritional requirements are same up to the age of 9. Only after 9 years, there is a differentiation in the nutritional requirement. Since we are studying about the school-going children, here I have specified 7 to 9 years. Lesser than that belongs to the preschool age, and therefore children who belong to 7 to 9 years require 1690 kilocalories of energy. It is 2190 kilocalories for the boys and 2010 kilocalories for girls who are between the age group of 10 to 12 years. The amount of energy required for boys is higher than that of the girls. Boys require 2190 kilocalories while the girls require lesser 2010 kilocalories. Coming to the protein requirement, the protein requirement increases during the school age. Here, we are not telling that the requirement decreases, right? So, the protein requirement increases during the school age. It is 29.5 grams for both the boys and the girls who are between 7 to 9 years of age. Here again, there is no difference between the boys and the girls, and the protein requirement is 29.5 grams for both boys as well as the girls. The requirement of protein is 39.9 grams for the boys and 40.4 grams for the girls in the 10 to 12 year age group. Here again, there is a difference in the protein requirement. The boys require lesser amount of protein when compared to the girls. The protein requirement for the boys is 39.9 grams, while it is higher in girls, 40.4 grams. Why is the protein requirement more in the girls? The protein requirement is slightly higher in the girls than the boys who are between 10 to 12 years of age because of the approaching menarche. So this is the period when the girl children are about 12 years of age, but now the age of menarche has drastically reduced. The age of menarche in the girls occurs around 12 to 16 years of age. Menarche is nothing but the occurrence of the first menstrual cycle in the girls. So, for the approaching menarche, the body stores reserves and the protein requirement is therefore more in the girls when compared with that of the boys. The fat requirement for the school-going children. In terms of the visible fat, the ICMR has recommended an intake of 5 to 6% of the total energy from linoleic acid. And what is the energy requirement for the school-going children? For the children between 7 to 9 years of age, the energy requirement is 1690 kilocalories and it is 2010 kilocalories for girls and 2190 kilocalories for the boys who are between 10 to 12 years of age. And if it has to be 10% of the 2010 kilocalories for girls and if you take it approximately as 2000 kilocalories, then 100 kilocalories of the energy should be derived from the linoleic acid. Considering this minimum visible fat required has been estimated to be 12 grams per day. The minimum amount of fat that has to be consumed by the school-going children as prescribed by the ICMR is about 12 grams per day. And ICMR has suggested the desirable visible intake of fat for the school-going children as 25 to 35 grams per day. In terms of linoleic acid, it could be 12 grams per day. But considering all the visible as well as the invisible fat present, the visible fat intake as prescribed by ICMR ranges between 25 to 35 grams per day, which means 5 to 7 teaspoons per day. Mineral requirement. The 10 to 12-year-old children require more calcium than the adults. The adults require about 600 milligrams of calcium per day to meet the demand for the skeletal growth, which signifies that in the children, the skeletal growth is more, and the amount of calcium required by the school-going children is 800 milligrams per day. We say that the growth is not very significant, but the mineral reserves are laid down during the school-going period, and therefore the calcium requirement is more even than that of the adult requirement, which is about 800 milligrams. The iron requirements are increased as the blood volume increases. The blood contains various cells like the RBCs, WBCs, platelets, and the RBCs contain the red colored pigment hemoglobin. For the formation of hemoglobin and also for the formation of cells and the increase in the blood volume, iron is required. Also, the mean increase in the body weight from the second year to the 12th year in boys and 10th year in the girls is about 2.5 to 2.7 kilograms per year. So the mean increase in body weight of the school-going children is about 2.5 to 2.7 kilograms per year, which is equivalent to the iron requirement of 0.3 milligrams per day. So when there is increase in body weight, there is increase in the number of cells in the body. That is why they grow. And for the formation of new cells, iron is required. Iron in the form of hemoglobin as well as myoglobin, iron is required. And iron is also required for the formation of various types of cells. Iron requirement is increased by the gradual rise in the hemoglobin concentration and also losses. So as the blood volume increases, the number of RBCs present in the blood will increase, and eventually the amount of hemoglobin that is required for the increased RBC will also show an increase, for which iron is needed, because for the formation of hemoglobin, iron is required. And iron is lost from the body through the urine, through the sweat, and if there is onset of menstruation in the girls, there will be some amount of menstrual losses also. Taking into account the increased requirement due to the increase in the blood volume and also the losses, the amount of iron requirement for the boys and the girls who are between 7 to 9 years of age has been estimated to be 16 milligrams per day. And the requirement of iron for the girls who are between 10 to 12 years of age is 21 milligrams per day, and it is more for the boys, which is 27 milligrams per day. The requirement for the girls is less, 21 milligrams per day, while it is more for the boys because 27 milligrams per day. The requirement for the girls is less because the amount or the rate of absorption of iron in the girls is greater when compared to the boys who are going to school or in the school going age. The iron absorption rate is found to be more in the girls when compared to the boys. That is why the iron requirement is 21 milligrams, which is lesser, and 27 milligrams for the boys, which is greater. Vitamin requirement. Vitamin A requirement of children have been computed from the requirement figures for the infants, which is 46 microgram per kilogram body weight per day, and adults 93 microgram per kilogram body weight per day, taking into account the growth rate at different ages. The RDA for the vitamins A and C are same as that of the adult requirement. Vitamin A requirement is, in terms of beta carotene, is 4,800 micrograms, and for vitamin C it is 40 milligrams per day, which is same as that of the adult requirement. Vitamin B requirement is based upon the amount of energy requirement. For every 1000 kilocalories of energy, the amount of B vitamin requirement is 0.5 milligram of thiamine for 1000 kilocalorie of energy, zero point 0.6 milligram of riboflavin, and 6.6 milligrams of niacin. So these three vitamins, thiamine, riboflavin, and niacin, are required for metabolism, and therefore they are based upon the amount of energy that is prescribed for the individual.